What's going on, guys? Welcome to Thinking Outside the Pylons. I am with my man today, Dylan Gull. We are doing a full podcast on the NBA Finals coming up. I'm really excited. We had him on at the beginning when the playoffs started, and now he's back. How you doing today, Dylan?
Amazing. I'm ready to get this going, man. Round two.
This is crazy. And you know what? I'm going to give you a huge shout out on this one because I was completely fucking wrong. 100% completely wrong. And I have to give that to you. I did not want the Heat at the beginning of the playoffs to make it to the finals. And you were all over this train. You're like, these guys can play. They're a complete team the way they play, and they're going to make it there. So I got to shout you out on that.
Well, it's funny because, people always had a feeling about Miami being the fifth seed, and they really underestimated them, in my opinion. But like I said, the X factor was Bam. Bam just came in so clutch for them, especially in the last game. Like, he played amazing. He's been the X factor for them for the entire playoffs, for sure.
And I agree. And obviously Hero coming out of nowhere. Jimmy Butler is just, it's like an all for Jimmy Butler kind of thing at the same time. So this team, it really has been a complete team. It's crazy that they've gotten here and they deserve it more than any team. And it's just,
I
awesome.
mean, man, what they did to the Bucks, I think once they did that, once they went 4-1 against the Bucks, I think they could have gotten to the chip for sure. I was 100%. Like, okay, they can definitely go to the championship if they can beat the Bucks.
And then just knocking out Boston the way they did. This team, and it goes to the fact they were well rested. Like totally. all these teams that they had to play usually played. Like, I know the Bucks only had a 5-game series, but they were even worn down by Orlando. And then just getting through them quickly, having the opportunity to rest before they played Boston was a really big deal.
Yeah. And look, like, nobody expected Tyler Hero to have that crazy game. Like,
hey, that's the one thing I'm gonna say. I could see him scoring 35. He scored 37. I'll take it. All right.
Yeah, I mean, that was insane. I've never seen anybody, especially that young, go off in the playoff. Like, he's just so confident in his shot. I think the previous game, pretty sure it was game 6, he wasn't having a good game. But then in the fourth quarter, he hit two great creation shots and just, to go cold throughout the entire game and then to hit those 2 critical shots, like, he's got some insane skills.
He's buckets. That's what he is. He's buckets.
Major buckets.
Biggest thing I do want to talk about is obviously we're going to go through the matchups, what it looks like, what we think that the Lakers have, that Miami doesn't have, and vice versa. I mean, we're not surprised that the Lakers are here. I mean, no. I know we're not whatsoever. And what I want to talk about before we get into some of the segments I have is the I don't know if you saw it at the beginning of game 5 with LeBron, but he has something in his eye. Like, he came out angry and he came out mad. And I don't know if anyone else saw this, but he was so dialed in and locked in that entire game. And even just a show after they win, he's just sitting on the ground and he's a different breed this playoffs.
He has to be involved with the NBA for his whole life. Like, he has to be a coach or a GM or an owner in some capacity, because the experience that he's had in these last, however many, he feels like he's been in the league forever, like 20 some years. he just, gotten so much experience going through all these different playoff bouts. I mean, he knows exactly how to will his team to win, like, he knows exactly what buttons to press at the right times, what to say, what not to say. And I was telling my dad the other day, like, I don't know how much, like, he might play till he's 40. He might play till he's 40.
I mean, he's 36 now, right? I believe he's been in the league for 16 years.
Yeah.
So, like, and he's not slowing down.
He doesn't look like he's slowing down.
Like, he looks really like he's going to go for the NFL after his career is done and still play just as good as a 23-year-old. Seriously. Like, he's in incredible shape, and just something about him. And I think this year being the year that Kobe passed away, Gianna and everything with the Lakers and everything with the social justice movement as well. And I think he's really involved with that. I think he has a lot of weight on his shoulders, and he feels that weight, and he's doing it for everything else, even his team. Like, he's doing it for Anthony Davis. He's doing it for Kyle Kuzma. All these players are kind of reject players. I think he's doing it for them, and I think that's driving him more than it's been before.
Wait, you think AD is a reject player?
No. The other players, the other
Oh,
players on the
okay.
Lakers. I mean, come on. Danny Green's good, but JaVale McGee, Alex Carousel, Kyle Kuzma, Avery Bradley, Jared Dudley, Quinn Cook, Markieff Morris, Dion Waiters, J.R. Smith. I
Yeah,
mean, they're not
they're
really
definitely
the
a ragtag group, aren't they?
they're just a thrown of team. Like, I mean, obviously, I think the Lakers, they had like what, 3 people opt out of the
Yeah.
comeback, so they really did have to grab people off the side of the street. So I mean, really,
Dion Waiters just came through. Yeah, like they lost Avery Bradley especially. I
Mhm.
thought that was going to be a big factor for them actually, just considering how good he is on defense. And I think what they wanted to do, the Lakers, their whole game plan was to really overload on defensive guards, and
Mhm.
then it would spark the fast break. And when you have like guys like Rondo, LeBron passing it to AD, JaVale, and Dwight, like that is the recipe for a great, great transition team. And they've really ridden that. They've ridden
Mhm.
their transition game the entire way.
I completely agree, and it's funny to me because I mean, Dion Waiters you saw this right, can actually get a ring if Miami or
Yes,
the Lakers win. If Miami gets the
yes,
discretion, he can actually get a ring. So smart business move by him.
for real.
But yeah, so that's kind of like what I look at when I see LeBron, is that he just has this part in his eye, and he's not done. And I don't know if Miami's going to match that intensity, because I think LeBron's going to come out and have this intensity
Man,
that
you
no one's
said it
going to
all,
match it.
man. Like intensity, man. He's got like just some immense, immense intensity whenever he plays. And it's just like so commendable at this point in his career. I know we say it all the time, but like this has never been done. Like what he's doing has never been done. No, like not even close. I mean,
Hmm.
you could go back to like when the NBA had like started.
Yeah.
That's about like where you have to go with like Bill Russell and the Celtics and
I
stuff
mean,
like
he
that.
has more finals appearances than I think it was 28 teams or 27
Yeah,
teams. Like, that's
that's what I'm
just
trying to like. He has to do something in upper management. Like he knows so much about like playoff experience. Like he has to do something
so.
to give back.
I know that's just crazy. So the first thing I want to talk about is kind of something kind of fun to start this off, is what's more likely. So I have
Okay.
3 questions. The first one that I want to go is, what's more likely? LeBron scores less than 20 points in a game, or Tyler Hero scores more than 25 points in a game. So to give you some background on this, in the playoffs, LeBron has scored under 20 points 29 times in postseason history,
Right.
and 8 all times in the finals. So there's been 8 finals games in his career where he scored under 20 points. Tyler Hero has 25, or has 6 25 points all time in his short career.
In the playoffs, of
No,
course.
and just his first year, because this is his
No.
first year. Yeah, he has six
Really?
games, only
Oh
6 games
man, I
over
really thought that
25.
he was more of a flamethrower than that. I thought
Right?
that he
God,
had a
he's not that big
couple.
of a bucket. My God.
Wow. That makes that game more impressive at this point. Honestly, I thought that he was way more. Wow, that's fun. Well, I guess him and Kendrick Nunn were sharing that
Yeah,
position.
and
Hey,
Kendrick, after he got hurt, I mean, Hero
right,
kind of
right.
had to step up. So
Yeah. Well, now I'm more impressed. What's more likely? Um, Man, that's a good question. Actually, now that I think about it, because the problem is LeBron can lean, especially on Anthony Davis. Like Anthony Davis is the best teammate LeBron's ever had.
yeah,
That's a fact. Like people can twist it whatever, however they want with like Dwayne Wade, Chris Bosh, or Kyrie, but Anthony Davis is definitely
Anthony
the
Davis is
best
an
skill
like,
set
yeah,
he had to work
he's a
with.
generational player. And just to go off topic on this, is that when Damian Lillard said that if they redrafted his draft, he'd be drafted second overall. Do you know who number 1 overall was?
Anthony Davis.
So to
Yeah.
get that respect from Dame,
Yeah,
like, that just shows you that he's a generational player.
totally, totally. I mean, he just had like he since he got drafted from Kentucky, everybody saw that he had immense potential. I think it's safe to say he might have exceeded that potential already. Like he's probably the most skilled power forward ever.
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, it makes it more than likely that LeBron would score less than 25 points in a game,
20
just
points.
because Anthony Davis, excuse me, 20 points,
You're
right,
fine.
rather, because Anthony Davis, I guess he can take a lot of the brunt of the scoring. And not only that, like the Lakers do have a lot of scoring options, even though people, they look at Anthony Davis. I mean, they run a lot of ISOs through Anthony Davis, but the Lakers can score in bunches.
Mm-hmm.
So that, Man, that's a tough one though.
And
I
Tyler
really
Hero, I
can't.
mean, I can totally see
Yeah,
Tyler Hero coming out and dropping another 30-point game.
yeah. Mm, you know what I'm gonna. You know what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say Tyler Hero is more likely, just
To score
because.
25.
Look, yeah. Looking back at how he played, like his confidence. Obviously, the Spoelstra and the Heat coaching staff aren't afraid to use him,
No.
which is like that's what you need. You need the buy-in from the coaching to even get you in that position. And if he's hitting shots, I really don't think the finals are going to phase him. To be quite honest with
No.
you, like there's just no way.
I mean, he played at Kentucky. Same with Anthony Davis, right?
All
These
these
kids,
Kentucky boys, man.
right? Like
All these
DeMarcus
Kentucky
Cousins,
boys.
right? Cousins is from Kentucky, I think.
Bam's from Kentucky.
Like
Bam
it's just
Adebayo's from Kentucky. Like
this.
there's so much talent that comes out of that school.
I mean, everyone. Like, I mean, you have Anthony Davis, you have Rajon Rondo.
Yep.
Like I'm just looking at the teams. It's just Kentucky's a powerhouse. Bam Adebayo, like you said. Like, I mean, it's just crazy. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think I'm gonna go with you on that one. I think Tyler Hero is gonna have one game where he goes off, just like he did, and I think that they're gonna enjoy having him come off the bench, and they're gonna need him to be a spark plug.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I can see them both happening. I can see them both happening in the same game, to be honest with you. But if I had to go with a bet, I'm gonna go with Tyler Hero.
Yeah, that's the thing. If I had to put money on it, I'd say Tyler Hero would probably score more than 25. But the thing is, I could never bet against LeBron after 2011. Like after, so you know the spark in his eyes, you say
Yeah.
the fire in his eyes or whatever. I think after that series against the Mavericks in 2011, something changed. Something changed with LeBron because after that he was never the same. He never approached the game the same way. He just took the game more serious. I don't want to say he took the game more seriously. I mean, obviously he takes it seriously, but he was just more deliberate, more like you said, intense. I mean, he wasn't going to let anything phase him, and I really don't think he would score less than 20 points in this postseason,
No.
or at least in the finals.
No, I agree with you on that one. So we're both going with Hero on the over. If we went against each other, we might have put money on it, but we didn't, so no money there. So the next one, we're talking about how great Anthony Davis is and how much he scores. So what's more likely? Anthony Davis scores 40 points with 15 rebounds in a game, or Jimmy Butler scores less than 10 points. So in Anthony Davis's career, he has 21 games with 40 points and 15 rebounds,
Right.
with 0 in the postseason.
Right.
Jimmy Butler has 9 all-time games in the postseason of scoring less than 10 points.
Damn, this is a harder one. This is a harder one.
Because 40 and 15 is freaking crazy. Like,
know why? Okay. You know what I'm going to say? I'm going to say it's more likely, not that it's likely, it's more likely Jimmy Butler scores less than 10 points because you just look at everybody on the court. Bam, JaVale, Dwight, Anthony Davis. You don't have a lot of rebounds to go around. I honestly don't think that Anthony Davis is going to get more than, 12 rebounds in a game for the finals. He doesn't seem to like playing the 5. He never has. Like he's gotten games where he's gotten like 2 rebounds in the post. I think in this postseason, right?
Yeah. There's a few of them where he didn't get any rebound. I mean, like obviously a couple games ago when they just did atrocious on the boards.
Totally.
And I think I agree with you there. And I think it's different now because this is the first season that he's really had a true center to play with.
Yeah.
Like with JaVale and with Dwight Howard, right? Those are their board guys, right? Board man gets paid, and they're 2 of the best board men in history, right? So,
yeah. I mean, he kind of had some centers, I guess, when he was with New Orleans.
DeMarcus for a year.
DeMarcus, Derek Favors for sure.
I guess,
but the thing is, again, he doesn't like. I don't want to say he doesn't like rebounding, but he definitely isn't. It's not his favorable, gameplay.
So I'm going to go, but I am still going to go with him getting 40 points and 15 rebounds in a game.
Really?
I honest to God, I think that Anthony Davis is going to win the MVP. And LeBron is going to be amazing, and LeBron is going to be incredible. I see the Lakers winning it when we get to the end. Like, that's just, but LeBron is going to be passing the ball so much. He's going to be playing the point so much that Anthony Davis is just going to eat. And Anthony Davis is really hunting for that first championship, and he's going to be getting the offensive boards and the defensive boards and pushing the ground, like pushing the floor. So I
Yeah.
really do see him having one game where he just 54 points and 17 rebounds, just
Oh man,
and
if he got 54 and 17, I mean,
and that's gonna be difficult against
I'd be
Adebayo,
surprised.
obviously. Like that's a really difficult player to go against. Like he's such a great defensive player, and I see the fact that they stretch the court so much. I can see Robinson even being on him just a little bit,
Mhm,
just to kind
mhm.
of like so he can't really be up in the like actual paint. But we'll have to see. That's a good one. So
Yeah, but this is the thing. Let me get some context to my answer. I
okay,
think
you're fine.
because I think that it would be more likely for Jimmy Butler to get hurt,
Okay,
and then not that's what I thought of in my mind, right? Like that to me is more likely. He scores a couple points and gets hurt, maybe in the
we're
first
not
quarter,
turning
second
injury
quarter.
sliders off on this one.
Nah, this is the most likely to happen, and I can see that happening more than I
Okay.
can see Anthony Davis getting 15 rebounds. I mean, the 15 rebounds to me is just like, man, if he does that, I'll be
And I
surprised.
can see just Jimmy just not hitting his shots in one game. I can see it, just him
Uh
just getting frustrated.
10
Right?
points?
I
Fuck.
mean, hey, we've seen crazier things, and he's done it 9 times in the postseason. And I made sure that they weren't just like fluff like at the beginning of his career. Like this is like the main part of his career. There
Yeah.
were 9 games where he scored less than 10 points
In the playoffs,
in
really?
the playoffs. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So,
I
um,
mean, yeah, he was part of that Bulls crew when he was coming off
mhm,
the bench, right?
yeah.
And is that included in that?
There was a few games, but he played like majority minutes. Like he got over 20
Oh,
minutes.
really?
There were some games where he played like 4 or 5 minutes. I didn't
Look,
include those. He
man,
scored 0 points.
when you
Like,
got D Rose on your
yeah.
team,
Yeah.
I mean,
Vintage D
it's
Rose. Yeah, when you have
yeah.
21-year-old MVP D Rose on your team, I don't think you need to score any
And Luol
points.
Deng was I mean, he it's
Joe
crazy thinking,
Kim,
yeah, looking back at how far Jimmy Butler's come in the NBA. Like honestly,
he's been shit on way too much.
yeah.
Like,
Nah, man, I love
like
Jimmy Butler, man. I don't care what anybody says. Jimmy Butler's the man. I was saying that back when he was with the Timberwolves, man, and they had so much animosity within the team. But like, man, I don't really like Carl Anthony Towns or Andrew Wiggins that much. And I was like, man, he's just got to get out of there.
Minnesota is just where you go to die when you get drafted. That's
That
another.
city
We won't get
needs
into that. That's like
they need more basketball like talent, or they need something. They need an overhaul. They need an
yeah,
overhaul.
I completely agree. So the last one, I don't even want to get into. That's a whole like we could go hours on the
Yeah,
Timberwolves. But
absolutely.
last one I have is: do the finals end with a sweep or a 7-game series? Now this might seem like a cakewalk, like some team is going to win at least one game. There have been
Right.
21 7-game series in NBA Finals history. There have been 9 sweeps in NBA history in the finals. So I don't see it happening for a sweep. I'm going to go with the over on this one, but it's just food for thought. Do you see it going 7 games?
Yeah,
You
I
do?
honestly do see it going. It's gonna go 6 or 7. The thing is, I think I said this the first podcast that we did together, where I said that the Heat coaching staff make the difference. That's what I was thinking about when I was, picking the teams that I wanted to see in the finals. And when I look at every other team, like they don't like Eric Spoelstra and his team are the ones that have the championship experience. They went to the championship however many times with LeBron, and that a lot. That you learn a lot
Mm-hmm.
about how to get there, the mentality it takes to stay there and win there, and that really like pays dividends, especially in times like these. I really don't think that it's gonna go under 6 or 7 games. I really do think it's gonna go 7 game, most likely 7 games. Just considering, I mean, how competitive the Heat are, how motivated the Heat are. I mean, everybody's gonna be motivated, but I mean, the Heat they fight
Mm-hmm.
so well as a group. I mean, that last like watching that last game versus Boston, Game 6, like you had to kill the Celtics, man. You had to stomp on the Celtics. They were not going to go away, and of course, Bam did his thing. He came and just competed really really hard in the last quarter, and it worked out for them. So that's what the Heat need. They need to have that fire, and they need to compete every single possession, and they're going to do that. There's no way that they get swept. There's just no way.
And they have to compete every single like possession as well. So I'm gonna go
Man,
with you
this
on
is
that
gonna
one.
be such a good finals, man.
Oh,
This is
I
gonna
think
be
I think it's to be
insane.
underrated, one of the better finals that we've ever had, truly.
Yeah.
But one thing, before we get to the next part, is just like if a sweep happens, it's just gonna be LeBron takes over. It really is, and Frank Vogel is gonna go. Okay, go out there, play 50 of the 48 possible minutes. Like just like don't sit, and it's just that's what it's gonna be. But truly, it I think Miami's got at least 2 games where they're going to be just edge it out, either overtime, double overtime, or just a final shot with Tyler Hero and something like that. Just like it's
Yeah,
going to be
that's a
something like that.
prediction.
No,
The
God, no.
Tyler
Tyler
Hero.
Hero is not going to
No,
get the
let's make
game-winning
a
shot.
bet. I want to see a Tyler Hero game winner. I mean, that'd be fun.
Game
Come
winner
on.
from the 4-pointer where the Harlem Globetrotters shoot to win the
Yeah.
game.
I mean, I'll take that bet.
All right. So next part I want to talk about is the keys for each team in
Right.
the
Okay.
finals.
Okay.
So I'll start with this one. I'll start with the Lakers because I think that everyone's going to look at this as the Lakers have it and it's a cakewalk. One thing I will say is I don't think that Lakers are underestimating Miami like everyone else is. I think that I guess the professionals, all the bet like Vegas and everything are just saying that Miami doesn't have a chance. I don't think that the Lakers are looking at it that way.
Hmm.
So my key for the Lakers, the first one I want to say is don't let Miami go on runs and don't let them consistently make 3-pointers.
Right.
So the thing about Miami is that we saw it with Boston, like they'll get down a little bit, but
Hmm.
their main thing is that they'll go on a run and their players will get hot. Jamie will get hot. Bam will get hot. Tyler will get hot. And once they get hot, they stay hot throughout the game. Right? They're very streaky team. So you have to contain that. When you get that lead, you have to hold that lead. You cannot let them get a chance to get back into the game.
Okay.
And then my next one would be LeBron runs point. I think
I like it.
LeBron runs the point for this entire series.
Entire
Like straight up.
series.
Like honestly, let him run
Rondo,
point
sit
guard.
down.
No, seriously, Rondo just stay in the corner, and it does help having Rondo obviously to be there to do what he's done to play against LeBron as well, like back in the day. So like he knows how Rondo's one of the most clutch players, and no one really realizes this. Like that
He's
we
one of the
have.
smartest players.
He really
I
is.
think.
Like I mean,
In the NBA,
like
honestly,
really the way he passes and everything. But
he
LeBron
better
needs
be a
to.
coach.
Yeah,
He better be a coach.
that's what I'm telling you. Like him and Chris Paul, watch it. But LeBron's going to run point and he's going to play the game at his pace because the Lakers know his pace. Miami's not, unless it's Udonis Haslem or Spoelstra, they're not going to know his pace like he does. And the biggest thing is get your freaking rebounds. Dwight, JaVale, Davis, you have to get rebounds. If you don't get rebounds, this game is going to be way too close at the end of each game. So rebounding,
sure.
LeBron keep up the pace, and do not let Miami go on runs. I think those are the 3 keys, and if they can do that, Lakers have this in the back.
Yeah. No, I like that. I like about, LeBron running point. I mean, you can't even really call him a point guard. It's like we live in this like crazy situation with the NBA where you can't really assign positions anymore.
No.
Like he's not even a point guard. He's like an initiator. He initiates the offense.
You look at Jokic.
Like,
Jokic for Nuggets dribbled the ball up half the time too for them. So like it's just crazy.
Like, is he a point guard? No.
No.
Is Giannis a point guard? Come on, man. He's not a point guard. Like, even though they claim that he is, they're all initiators.
Anthony Davis used to be a point guard, wasn't he, in high school? And
yeah.
he like grew like 7 inches or so. I could be wrong.
Freak.
I could be. Okay, that's what I thought. And that's why he's so damn good at dribbling and shooting, was that he was a point guard.
Yeah, he grew like 10 inches, some stupid like 10
like
inches.
7 inches in like a year or something like that.
Yeah, in a year. It's like, what?
He got knee
imagine
implants.
How scary that would be if you were just like within a matter of a year, just like just freaking out.
Your parents don't know what to buy you. Like, what do we do?
That would be scary as hell. Yeah, I like that though.
What are your keys for the Lakers, at least?
Okay, for the Lakers.
Now,
You have
this
to.
being said, sorry,
Yeah, go ahead.
this being said, this is all impromptu. I didn't really give you an opportunity to prepare for this. We kind of just threw this together. So,
No, this is off the
like,
cuff.
yeah,
This is how
so
we
like,
roll.
yeah, so I'm just saying, like, I like you are under a lot of pressure, just me putting you on the spot.
No,
So,
no, no,
I
no.
want to make sure, like,
I'm thinking outside the pylons right now, bro.
exactly, you got to think outside of it, right? That's
I'm
what, like,
thinking
that's.
outside. Okay, let me think. So, okay, Miami is younger,
Hmm.
right? They're gonna try and outrun the Lakers as much as possible. Even the Lakers are a great transition team. The Lakers have to control the game. They have to control the pace. Um, that is one thing I think Miami is gonna try to do that the Lakers need to stop. They need to stop, like what you said earlier. They need to stop, back-to-back threes. They really need, like, it seems so obvious, but you need to guard the three. Like, you need to guard the three and stay disciplined. And what's been happening in these playoffs, which I don't know if you've noticed this, there has been so many 4-point plays or fouls on 3-pointers. They have to take that into account, especially with how good this team is from three. They can't jump into players. It crushes the momentum of a team when
Hmm.
somebody gets fouled in the 3-pointer, right?
Sorry to interrupt you. I don't know if the rule changed this year where you jump into someone's space. Did that
Bro, I don't know what the
change?
rule is.
No,
What is the rule?
because the rule
Nobody
is the
knows.
rule is if someone is there and you jump into their space. So if you jump and they can't land like and
Yeah,
protect themselves, it's a foul. And I
you
don't know if
know,
that was a 2020 rule or if that's been around for a bit, or it's just being called more often than it has been in previous
the
years.
NBA has really tried to work with the players and the officials on how to call this. Nobody knows how to call these calls, because sometimes players shooting motion is a natural jumping forward motion, right? So
Hmm.
you
Paul
can't
Pierce
tell
putting
all
legs out.
players, yeah, you can't tell all players to change their shooting motions, but at the same time you have to somehow give the defense the opportunity to contest the shot. Like, players don't have the opportunity to contest the shots anymore.
No.
That's the problem. So with that being said, the Lakers have to be disciplined guarding the three, and they have some amazing defensive guards.
Hmm.
I think they're going to be fine doing that, but they have, like, Danny Green's going to have to step up. Rondo's going to have to step up. Cruz is going to have to step up defensively. Getting tips on different passes around the perimeter are going to be essential, of course, with starting the fast break. So that's the main. I guess controlling the pace is the
Yeah.
number one. They have to really limit Miami's momentum. They really gotta. They have to just close out on threes and just not foul them. That's what I hope they do.
Yeah.
And as for, well, the other thing too, I guess, for the Lakers, now that I think about it, is free throws. They have to hit free throws. I mean, I think they're one of the worst free throw shooting teams in the league.
I mean, if you just look at
And
if you look at their like roster, you can just tell
yeah,
that.
it's just brutal, man. And to look, you don't hit free throws, it's hard to win.
Yeah.
That's just like the fact. Like, they have to hit free throws if these games are close. Dwight, JaVale, I think Rondo's been better from the line, but a lot of these guys who are subpar are gonna have to really concentrate and step up.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I'd say for the Lakers. As for Miami, what I would say, I would say you have to, like, really try and make Anthony Davis. This is gonna sound really difficult to do, but you have to make Anthony Davis a facilitator, and you have to. Bam's gonna have some fucking big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
Like, he's gonna have to play amazing defense on AD to start with, stay out of foul trouble, but try their best to stop Anthony Davis from, he basically scores at will.
Yeah.
Like, he basically scores at will if you don't do something. So number one thing is to make him a facilitator. Don't make LeBron a facilitator. Make Anthony Davis a facilitator. There's so many things you could, like, dissect, but those are the main things I think for each team. Miami just has to Anthony Davis is like a faucet. Like, you just, like, open the faucet, just water. He's just money.
Yeah.
You have to do something about AD. You have to game plan for him. LeBron is LeBron. He's going to do what he does, but Anthony Davis is an automatic too.
Yeah.
If you don't do something.
LeBron's going to eat, but the Lakers need AD to get full. Like that's what it is. Like LeBron's going to eat. He's going to be your appetizer, but if you can stop AD, the Lakers
Yeah,
won't
he
get
might have
full
a
and get
chance.
yeah, and
He
I
might have a
100%
chance.
agree. One thing that I thought is important is be careful. Do not turn the ball over and do
Mhm.
not allow fast breaks and easy buckets. Because,
Yeah,
like we
like
said, the Lakers are such a good transitional team.
totally.
I mean, you're going to get down 10 points before you even have a chance. The Lakers are so tall and fucking long. Like,
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
have
Rajon
some
Rondo's wingspan is like Anthony Davis. Like, it's just
totally.
like they're just you have to take care of the basket or the ball. I mean, another big one is play depth, unload
Yeah,
your bench. I think that's a big one for them is they have to use everyone. You have to utilize none. You have to utilize hero. You have to utilize your bench, and your bench has to play well because
yeah,
you're going to be tired. Like
yeah,
honest to God, the Heat are going to be tired because of how much the Lakers run.
totally. And look, throughout the entire playoffs, Miami's they've had the game plan on every team. They've had every team's number so
Mm-hmm.
far. Like it looked like, from at least from my point of view, in every single series, it wasn't even close.
No.
Like they, even though Boston definitely was the best competitor that they faced,
Mm-hmm.
it still, in my opinion, looked like Miami was going to win from the jump.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, I just think that Miami has to do what they've done for like game planning appropriately for the Lakers. But Jimmy Butler specifically, I think he has to turn into a scorer because he has been a facilitator every single series. He's really, picked his shots. He hasn't had crazy games. If you look at it,
Mm-hmm.
like the games from a scoring perspective, they haven't been crazy. In the fourth quarter, obviously, he really he takes it on himself to score. But I think for the Miami Heat to compete offensively with the Lakers, Jimmy Butler's going to have to hit some shots. He's going to have to get to the foul line more often. I think he's just going to have to play an overall better game.
I
Look,
100% agree.
let's just call it what it is. For Miami to win this series, like they have to do everything right.
Mm-hmm.
Right? They have to do everything right every game for them to win this series. And yeah, Jimmy Butler, Bam are very, very critically important for the Miami Heat. And if they play well, they'll have a chance. But man, looking at like if you look at the other team with AD, I mean, I would be scared. I'd be scared of AD if
Mm-hmm.
that's all I'm talking about if I'm Miami. That's all I'm talking about is AD. You look at all the other games he's had, all the other series. He's just scored. He's scored so effortlessly.
I agree. And the reason why I'm looking at what Butler's playoffs have looked like,
Right.
and to be a star of the team because that's why they signed him. At the end of the day,
Right.
he's their number one option. These playoffs, he's only had 2 games over 30 points. He's had
Yeah.
a 40-point game, and he had a 30-point game as well.
Mhm.
But that's really it. I mean, he's gone as low as 6 points in a game, 17, 13, stuff like that. So
See, he's a facilitator.
he's
He's a
got to
facilitator.
score. He really does
And
have
I
to
really
score.
do think that, with the Lakers' defensive capabilities, they're not going to allow Jimmy to pass the way he does.
Mm-hmm.
Like he passes really well. He makes the right pass at the right time. I think he's just going to have to take on a lot of the scoring load for Miami from the jump.
I agree. And one thing I'm noticing here is when Jimmy gets to the free throw line
Yeah,
is when he has his best games. He went
totally.
17 and
Totally.
20, he scored 27 points. 12 and 13, he scored 40 points. 14 and 19, he scored 30 points.
He's tough. He gets to the line, man.
He
He's
needs
a
to get
tough
to the
guy.
line. But in the games where he doesn't, I mean, he scored 6 points. He only got to the line twice, and he made both of them.
Yeah.
So you
I
get to
mean,
the line.
there you go. Game plan for Miami. Make Jimmy Butler get to the free throw line.
Yeah.
That's a good game plan for any, big time scorer in the NBA
I mean,
to get to the line, but
that's
it's
fouls on the
more
other
important
team.
for him.
Yeah, fouls on the other team. You get to the free throw line. He's been great at it, and when he does it, it gives you that confidence, right? Getting 2 buckets from the charity stripe just adds so much confidence to your game because, I mean, you just look at it, slows your pace down. You can look around. You can kind of check what you want, and it gives you the opportunity to really come back and play the game properly.
Totally. I mean, man, if I'm Miami, I am just thanking God that I have Jimmy Butler on my team because going up against Anthony Davis, Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee, I mean, that's a lot of. You're gonna get your shot blocked a lot. You gotta
Yeah.
have some balls to go up every single time against those guys. But Jimmy
Yep.
Butler, I think he can do it.
I 100% agree. So those are the keys. Last key I just had was don't let LeBron control the pace of the game, but LeBron's going to control the pace of the game. So,
Yeah,
like we said, LeBron's going to eat. Stop AD. I think that's the best thing
just
to
stop
do.
AD. Just
Just
stop AD. That's the
that
key.
slogan. Just stop him.
Put
I
three
think
guys on him.
one thing I kind of wanted to say was before we get to the next thing that I want to talk about was I think that Miami doesn't benefit from the bubble like the Lakers do.
Mm.
And now the reason why I'm saying this is that a West Coast team playing East Coast. Now you have to think about when it comes to imagine this entire playoffs. Miami would have had to go to Milwaukee. Miami would have had to go to Boston. Miami would have had to go to Indiana, right?
Right,
So
right.
the Lakers would have had to go to, let's see, how'd they start off? They went to Portland, all right? So then they would have to go to Houston, and then they would have to go to Denver. So now the time is the same, but the difference is that the East is all one time zone.
Mm.
The West is 2 to 3 time zones, and then on top of it, when you're playing in the finals, you're in Vancouver right now. I am in Florida. So just to put that in perspective, you are 3 hours behind. Imagine flying 3 hours to Miami right now and then playing a game that night or the next night.
Damn. When you put it like that.
So instead of playing at 7 p.m. your time, you're actually playing at 4. Your stomach's all fucked up from flying anyways. So that really throws off your clock. But when you go to Miami to LA, I mean, you're only playing 3 hours earlier, right?
Yeah.
So you're instead of playing at 7 o'clock, instead of playing at 10 o'clock, you're playing at 7 o'clock. But to me, that gives you more time, right? When you think about it, you're getting more time. And they're more accustomed to that East Coast sleeping pattern. So it's something really outside the pylons. But anyways, it's something that is like you don't think about is that the Lakers don't have to travel cross country, but they don't have to play 3 hours
I
ahead.
mean, you're right. And look, that's been one of the benefits of the bubble is that everybody seems to have the same level playing field when it comes to travel. Look, the bubble worked. I mean, it's been great. It's been really entertaining. The only thing that I really am thinking about when I watch these playoffs is the fact that, you need the fans.
Yep.
You just need
They've done
the
as
fans.
best as they can with noises and everything, but it's not the
same. It's just not the same.
You can feel the vibrations on a court when people are cheering.
It's a real factor. Like, we would be having a total different conversation if we were facing Miami. If Miami was going to LA was going to Miami, the fans, I mean, just
Miami even going to the Gardens. Think about that, right? Miami going to Milwaukee. Do they even make it this far?
No, exactly.
Like going to Boston, like that's not easy.
Looking back at the playoffs, the Raptors and the Celtics, every single game in that series was won by an away team. That's never happened.
No.
That's never happened. And that just says it all. Like, you need to have fans at the state. I mean, obviously, they need to do it in a safe way, especially, all things considered. Nobody wants anything to go wrong, especially during this sensitive time with the coronavirus. But it's just not the same. Like, it's a level playing field, but at the same time, it's almost like an unfair playing field because all those teams that got the number one seed,
they worked their ass off,
and now it's all, everything's fair game now.
Yeah. So. And so, it is unfortunate, but I mean, what would be cool would be this final is to be able to go to like LA to the Staples Center and go to Miami and see that. Like, those are two beautiful, amazing stadiums.
Totally.
And the fans are so diehard for both these teams, and the LeBron factor, Eric Spoelstra factor. Can
you imagine the Miami fans?
Oh my God!
With LeBron.
Yeah, and man, one thing that a lot of people like
crazy.
Udonis Haslem was in the same draft as LeBron James, and he's still on the. I know he doesn't really play, but he's still on the Heat. So
I didn't even know that until you mentioned it, but it doesn't. I wasn't even surprised when you said that. Like I just see, that's how crazy that is. Like I just accepted that. I'm like, yeah, well, probably.
Like, he's old. I mean, he's been around forever, and he's just like at this
It's
point
LeBron, man.
he's like, and it's just it is unfortunate we didn't get to see home court advantage in these playoffs, and I think it really has benefited Miami. And I think this
Yeah.
is a really big one where it does benefit Miami or it benefits the Lakers because that flight is like it's
The
really
time
difficult.
zone argument does make sense to me.
So that's one thing I wanted to look in, like kind of talk about. The last thing I really want to talk about before we get into like what we think the series is going to be. Who
Tell me.
deserves a ring more?
Right.
Anthony Davis or Jimmy Butler?
It's Jimmy Butler.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah. I mean, it's like you pick the two contrasting lifestyles in the NBA of some guy who's been gritty and some guy who's been the star for pretty much his whole career outside of the NBA also. In terms of, deserving, it's hard to say. Like when you think of, deserving, like what does it even mean? I mean, a lot of NBA players deserve the ring. They all work hard.
I mean, that being
but
said, so like even before that, I mean, Dragic, he deserves one. Crowder, I don't know if he ever
yeah,
won one, but he deserves
yeah,
one. Dwight Howard, I know deserves one. JaVale McGee, Kyle Kuzma has been one of those guys has been thrown under the bus everywhere he goes.
yeah,
So I agree, all of them, but these two guys are the polarizing important factors in my opinion.
yeah. But the reason I say Jimmy is just because Jimmy endured more than Anthony Davis, in my opinion, when it came to, public ridicule. Anthony Davis is, I mean, you couldn't think of a more clean-cut athlete. I mean, he says everything right. He does. Look, when he, I want to say when he defected from New Orleans, it was probably one of the worst, media kerfuffles ever. But if you watched him throughout the entire process, he was just like, yeah, I just want to play basketball. That's all I want to do.
I just want to win.
So, like,
I've only given this team my heart for the last 6 years of my life.
On the other hand, Jimmy Butler just says what he feels. He just like, no, I don't want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. And I honestly just want Jimmy Butler to win more. I mean, I think that he deserves it because he's grinded for more for what he has in the NBA than Anthony Davis has.
And yeah, so I mean, just to take a look at it, Anthony Davis, number 1 overall pick. He's been in the league for 7 years. He's only played on 2 teams. You look at Jimmy Butler. He was drafted 30th overall. He was the last pick in the first round.
30th overall?
30th overall to the Bulls, and he's played on the Bulls. He's played on the 76ers. He's played on the Timberwolves, and now he's played on the Heat. I think, like, only one more year than Anthony Davis. And when Jimmy Butler got drafted, he wasn't even a starter, right? Like Anthony Davis came in and they knew he was the guy. Like he was the guy. He will always be the guy, and he's been the guy even till now. And Jimmy Butler has put in so much work and so much effort and so much like tears, blood, everything into being where he was, and all he ever did was got shit on by his team.
Man. People just
saying that he was hard to work with and all this stuff, and he comes here and he's not even old. I mean, really, Jimmy Butler isn't that old. But when you have a guy like Tyler Hero and Kendrick Nunn on your team, I mean, Cam Adebayo, when your stars are so young and you are a star and you're older, they just gravitate to you. Because when you look at the Lakers, they don't really have a young star. I mean, they have Anthony Davis and LeBron James. They don't have anyone looking up to these guys. I mean, they only have 2 rookies on their teams. One of them is a two-way player. And it's just like you look at him, the lowest experience is like 2 years. And that's Alex Caruso, and he looks older than everyone combined. So, but I mean, it's just like you look at the Lakers, and they're such a veteran team, and you look at Miami, and they're such a young bulldog mentality, like been tossed around. I mean, Duncan Robinson's story is fucking incredible. D3 player to only get one offer to get to Michigan to be where he is just crazy. Jay Crowder playing at Marquette with Jimmy Butler. Like the stories of Miami are just so crazy. And to throw Jimmy on top of that, it just shows how crazy this team is and how much they truly deserve to be where they're at.
Yeah. And look, you said it all. experience with the Lakers.
Oh
They
my
are
God.
experienced, right? Like, and that is really what it comes down to. On the other hand, this is the reason why I think it's going to go 7, is because Miami has, they just look comfortable. They literally look like they're supposed to be in the finals.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they look like they're meant to be there. They're meant to play and compete. It doesn't look like it's going to be a blowout, that's for sure. And that comes from the territory of the Miami Heat. That comes from the actual culture, right? Like everything is, earned, not given, this kind of mentality. And they don't seem to get phased. So I really do think it'll go 7.
So that's perfect to go into what we think the finals are going to look like. What is your
Yeah,
prediction for the games? 7-game
for the
series,
games.
right? LeBron versus Spoelstra. Vogel versus Jimmy Butler. There's no connection there. What do we think? In your opinion? So I'm gonna go with mine. I do think the Lakers are gonna win it. I just think they're too powerful. They're too strong. It's gonna be AD, and like we said, he's just gonna eat. And I think it's gonna be a great series, but I think it's gonna be 6 games. And like I said, LeBron has this thing in his eyes. He's not gonna let his team slow down. LeBron is gonna tell Vogel to sit down, and he's going to become the coach. And he's literally going to look these guys in the eye and say, this is for fucking Kobe. This is for Gianna. This is for Los Angeles. This is for Breonna Taylor. Like, I'm not even kidding when I say that. Like, this is for everything going on in America. This is for our team. This is for the Lakers who haven't won it since 2011. This is for us.
Yeah. And no, this is our time.
And
that's what he's going to say.
And I don't think that Miami, they're going to be dogs. They're going to be the best team they played, but I don't think they're going to be able to withstand and outduel LeBron.
Yeah, I mean, you just can't count them out. And that's really what it comes down to. LeBron's experience is just going to be the difference maker. And the way I see it playing out, in terms of game-wise, I think that they might split the first 2 games, so LA will win 1, then Miami. Then I think LA is going to win probably 2 more. Miami might win 2 more, go to game 7 and see what happens. Because
you think LeBron's going to let a team come back from 3-1 to get to game 7?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like if they go up 3-1 and Miami gets 1 more game, if Miami doesn't get, shut out in that game, I think they're going to win another one. Because the thing is, in every single series, no 2 games are the same. And they're going to make some heavy adjustments. That the Miami Heat coaching staff are going to do every single possible thing they can to, they're going to play the most effective chess they can. And I think that they could honestly get several games on the Lakers back to, like they had the potential to win back-to-back games against the Lakers. So the way I see it, I think it's highly likely they'll go 7 games. I'd be shocked if they swept, first of all, but also if it went 5 games, I'd be shocked. Like, there's no way Miami's not going to win 2 at the very least. Yeah.
So I'd who do you 7. Have winning in 7 games? Is it still going to go to the Lakers?
Oh, man. Yeah. Lakers, man. Lakers got to win in 7. I just want to watch the finals right now.
I know. And tomorrow at 6 p.m. your time, 9 p.m. my time, that's when it's coming out on Wednesday. What is that? Or sorry, that's going to be Wednesday, October 1st, isn't it?
October
30th. No, Wednesday. Yeah. Wednesday, September 30th is the first game. And this game is going to be crazy. I'm excited for this series. I'm ready to go. I think it's going to be a great series, but I just want to see how game 1's going to say a lot about this series.
True. I'm glad you brought that up. Like, the fact that they don't have fans or home court advantage, I have no idea.
Yeah.
Like, literally, I'm trying to predict. I have no idea how this series is going to play out. I think the Lakers are going to win. Let's get out of the way. But how they're going to do it, in terms of the
how they're going to get, I don't know. This journey is going to be ridiculous, but the end goal is LeBron holding it at the end of the game and Anthony Davis with MVP. That's my shot. I'm calling that Anthony Davis for the MVP. If not, if the Heat pull this off, if the Heat win, Bam Adebayo MVP of the finals.
Yeah.
or
Yeah, I would
Andre
agree.
Iguodala comes out and steals another one for the finals.
Oh my God, that would just be ridiculous.
But these rosters are probably two of the most complete rosters that we had in these playoffs.
That's what I've been saying. Okay, that's what I said.
No,
I
you're right.
said Miami,
I'm just an
and
idiot. No, I'm
no,
just a fucking idiot.
it's not even that. It's like everybody, all the analysts that were predicting, nobody even said one word about Miami. It was
I
just
mean,
insane to me.
Solomon Hill, Jay Crowder, Andre
Solomon Hill.
Iguodala, Myers Leonard. I mean, he gets out there, he can play. I mean, Tyler Hero, Jimmy Butler, Derek Jones Jr., Dragic, Olynyk, Nunn, Adebayo, Robinson.
I mean, Adebayo is just an unbelievable player. He
Adebayo
probably
in 3
will win
years, in 2 years when his contract is up, is getting a max contract.
100%.
I don't know. Jimmy Butler might be gone by then. I don't know what they're doing, but Adebayo is the next big player, and so is if I know like Hero has the opportunity. I said this to you before. He is superstar potential. He is Klay Thompson on this team. 100% just spot up threes, great energy, will get it done on defense. If he continues that, he will have a Klay Thompson type career.
You know, it's crazy. He seems to create a shot like better than Klay Thompson.
Yeah, you're right.
He's almost better. I don't want to say he's better than Klay Thompson.
He's better creating.
But
that
he's better
at
at certain aspects of the game than Klay Thompson. So I mean, he's definitely a star for sure. It's like he's gonna be a star on that team.
And I think his career playing at Kentucky and everything, I just think playing at Kentucky just gives you the life.
Something happens. We got to do an investigation into what happens when players.
Why is every player in Kentucky?
What happens? It can't just be the school. What's in the water? What are they doing to these?
Oh yeah, because looking at this, I think there's 3 players from Kentucky. There's only 1 player from UNC. And I mean, North Carolina is a powerhouse, but when you look at it, I mean, that's crazy to look at it and think that Kentucky, I mean, they're fucking.
You could write a book on how many players came out of Kentucky and their stories.
Yeah, there's still not enough.
Yeah,
straight up,
it's insane.
But that is episode 15. Do you have any more things to say? Final comments?
Oh man, final comments. I'm glad that it worked out with the NBA.
Yes.
I mean, I know other sports leagues had a lot of hiccups starting their series up again and their leagues up again, but the NBA, they did the best they could. It seems to have worked, and I just got to commend the NBA for doing everything they had to do to make it work.
And honestly, they did it the best way. Who the hell cares if fans can't be there? The owners took a loss, and that just shows a lot about the owners. But to do what they did just shows that anything can happen if a society and if a group of people put their mind to it. We're going to have NBA games. We're going to make NBA games happen.
Yeah, have a lot of cash.
Yeah.
A lot of cash.
That being said, this is episode 15. Can you give me any athletes that wear or have worn number 15?
I think DeMarcus Cousins wore number 15.
Yes, he did. Now there's a guy behind me that wears number 15 as well.
Who? I can't.
Patrick Mahomes.
Of course, Mahomes.
Now I'm going to give you 2 of them. 3 of them. One isn't currently number 15 you should be able to get. He actually plays for the Nuggets.
I don't know. 15 on the Nuggets?
He's really tall and really bald.
Is Jokic number 15?
Jokic is number 15.
I actually never knew that.
And then 2 other players, Vince Carter, for when he played with the Hawks, is number 15.
Right.
And Carmelo Anthony.
When
he played for the Nuggets, was number 15.
Yeah. I was trying to think when you asked me that. I was trying to think of all the 15s in my head. Blanks, man.
It's a weird number. It's one of those numbers that you just don't think about. Number? Yeah. But that being said, that is episode 15 to Thinking Outside the Pylons. Thank you so much for Dylan for stopping on by. It means so much. Honestly, this was really fun. I love it when we get together and we do this because we have so many talking points. I'm obviously always wrong. You're usually 99% right. And you're going to be right.
Stop it.
So let's get ready for this. Let's enjoy this. Also, for your ventures, you're in the sport of basketball. And I really hope everything the best of you and everything with your career. And I'm excited for everything that's going to come to both of us.
Yeah, Chandler, thanks so much for having me on again. Like anytime you want to do it again, let's do it.
Awesome. All right. You guys have a great night. Subscribe, rate, review the podcast, YouTube, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts, iTunes. Check it out. Thank you guys so much for all the support. I appreciate it. Bye, guys.